Hello, everybody. Welcome to Entrepreneurs Kit Hub or eKit Hub. Today, I have a very, very special guest with me. It is no other than Alice Seba, my business partner. And we have a few questions submitted by our community, you guys. And today, we're going to dive into the questions and pick Alice's brain. Hello,
Ouch.
Alice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Very glad to be here, of course. Do we
I'm
get to
really
tell
glad.
them that you're in the other room, that we're in the same house? You're just in the living room? What's Biscuit
Uh,
doing?
yeah, Biscuit is sleeping on the couch. I can't turn the camera around, but she's sleeping right there, right in front of me.
Okay, well, tell her
Let's
I
not,
miss her.
yeah, she misses you, but let's not distract her because, she might become a disruption for this. Either way, so we would like to start with the first question. This is probably a great place to start since you're sharing secrets of someone who has sold millions of dollars of content, courses, and printable over the past couple of decades. Beth asked about your story of how you first got started and how you progressed to where you are now, and what would you have done differently?
Well, that's a great and big question, of course, so I will not give you all the boring details. But like honestly, it was 2002 and I was never really an entrepreneurial minded person. It wasn't my goal to start a business, but I had a baby and I was like, I don't really like going to work every day. I don't mind working, but I don't want to do it every day. And, I just thought there was a different way to do it and also to be home with my kid. And I was also someone who, at one point, thought that they would be a writer, fiction writer, maybe a poet. But that never happened, but I still always really enjoyed writing. So it was actually kind of perfect. I came online and saw, what are my options? And I started out as a writer for pay, so like freelancing and stuff like that. And I think that's a great place for people to start because it was, I traded my time, so it was like a job, but I didn't have to drive to work. And I got paid and I was able to invest that money into my business and grow it from there. So it wasn't somewhere I ever wanted to stay. But then I evolved into creating done for you content packages, selling courses, and things like that. And I guess the rest is history. The business has evolved a lot over the years, but content has always been the core of it. And, printable documents, courses, all that stuff, selling content that other people can use for commercial use. And I always have trouble with the question, like, what would you have done differently? I always think it's a process. So, I had to learn everything that I did. But the one thing that I would always say is to myself is that I would to be more focused. It's easy to get distracted with all kinds of different ideas. And I think that, had I focused more on certain things, then some of those things might have been more successful. But you're only going to learn by doing. So, thinking about or worrying about what you've done wrong is not the thing to do. It's like figuring out what you learned from what you may have done wrong and go from there.
So, what's the first thing someone should do when they first start to create an online business selling digital products or printables?
The very first thing, the center thing should always be attempting to grow your mailing list. So even if you start building your audience on social media or other ways or start selling products on Etsy, always make sure, just do this part, to make sure you have a place where you can get people to sign up for your subscriber list, a mailing list. And the reason we say that, even though like, oh, email's dead or it's dying, but it's not. And I guess it will depend how, the age of your audience. Younger audiences maybe don't use email as much, but generally speaking, selling products, email is the way to go because it's a commercial format. On social media, people don't really expect sales pitches unless you're actually doing an ad. And email is such a commercial medium. It's a way for you to keep in touch with them. And it's important to have. So no matter how you're building your audience, always be funneling into that that mailing list. So make sure you have a process set up for people to subscribe, that you have some nice free gift that they can subscribe to so that they want to become your subscribers, and make sure you're, nurturing that list and emailing them as well. That definitely has to be a part of it if you're in it for the long term, because if you're selling products on Etsy or somewhere else, Etsy has your customer list. You need a way to be able to keep talking to those people, and perhaps, selling them different types of products that they wouldn't even find on Etsy. You might want to recommend products that you receive a commission for or something like that. You can't do that just through the one third-party platform.
It is obviously, and I think you would agree, it is the most cost-effective way of reaching your audience by
Yeah.
creating an email list.
If you would like to have access to the full interview, visit ekidhub.com/interview.